In this video, I want to talk to you about why detachment is not about letting go of what you want, but it's about remembering who you really are. If you've spent any time in spiritual circles lately, you've probably heard the word detachment over and over again. Detach from the outcome, detach from the relationship, detach from money, detach from what people think, detach if you want to manifest. And while most people understand detachment intellectually, actually living it is incredibly difficult. Now, why is that? Because the ego believes attachment equals safety. The ego believes that if it holds on tightly enough, worries enough, plans enough, controls enough, then somehow life will unfold exactly according to its wishes. And what if the very thing you're holding on to is the thing preventing you from receiving? What if attachment isn't actually love? What if attachment isn't commitment? What if attachment is simply fear wearing a disguise? Today, I want to share a perspective on detachment that goes beyond manifestation in psychology. I want to talk to you about it from a perspective of karma, consciousness, and awakening to your divine nature. Because true detachment is not about giving up, it is about waking up. Now, let's understand why we become attached. Every attachment begins with a belief. And the belief is what? That I need this in order to be okay. I need this relationship. I need this person to love me. I need this amount of money. I need this opportunity. I need this outcome. And the moment we believe that we need something outside of ourselves in order to feel whole, we enter a state of separation. The soul knows it is already whole, but the ego believes that it is incomplete. And this is why attachment feels so painful. You are not simply wanting something, you are unconsciously asking that this thing will complete you. And no person, no achievement, no amount of money can ever permanently do that. Because what you're actually seeking is not the object itself. You're seeking the feeling you believe that object will give you, whether it's love, worthiness, security, freedom, peace. And all those qualities are not outside of yourself. They are qualities of your true nature. Now, what is the karmic purpose of attachment? Now, let's go a little bit deeper. From a karmic perspective, attachment isn't a mistake, but it's a lesson. Every attachment reveals a place where consciousness has forgotten its own divinity. Think about it. If losing something completely destroys your peace, that thing has become an idol. Your happiness has become outsourced, and your power has been handed away. Life doesn't punish you for this. Life simply mirrors it back to you. And this is why many people experience repeated disappointments in the same area, the same relationships, the same financial struggles, the same feelings of rejection, the same fears, the same abandonment wounds, and the same frustrations. Not because the universe is against you, but because consciousness is attempting to complete a lesson. The lesson is never about getting the thing. The lesson is about discovering who you are, even without the thing. This is actually a karmic gift because once you discover your wholeness, independent of external circumstances, you are now no longer controlled by them. And that is freedom. So, why does desire create suffering? Now, one of the deepest spiritual teachings found in many traditions is that suffering comes from attachment, not because desires are bad, but because attachment creates resistance to what is. Now, the ego says, I will be happy when, I will feel complete when, I can relax when. Now, notice how peace is always postponed, always somewhere in the future, always dependent on a condition. The soul doesn't operate that way. The soul exists in the present moment. The soul is already connected to Source. The soul understands that peace is not something you achieve. Peace is what remains when resistance ends. And this is why many people chase manifestation for years and still feel empty. They receive the thing, then immediately move on to the next thing. Because the original wound was never healed. The original illusion of separation was never dissolved. Now let's look at the higher meaning of detachment. Most people think detachment means not caring. It doesn't. Detachment actually means caring deeply while surrendering control. It means loving without possessing, serving without forcing, and creating without clinging. Now, acting without demanding a specific outcome is what this is about. In spiritual teachings, this is sometimes called non attachment. You still have intentions, you still have dreams, you must take action, but your peace no longer depends on the result. That changes everything because now your actions merge with the inspiration rather than the fear. From trust rather than desperation, and from abundance rather than lack. And life responds differently. What if I said belief and detachment are actually the same thing? Now, here's something I've observed after decades of working with healing, consciousness, and energy. True belief and true detachment produce the same energetic state. Think about it. When someone has absolute faith, they are relaxed. They're not obsessing, they're not forcing, they're not panicking, they simply know. Likewise, when someone is detached, they're relaxed, they aren't chasing, they're not forcing, they're not panicking, they simply trust. So on the surface, they appear different. One says, I know it will happen. The other says, whether it happens or not, I'm okay. Yet both create the same internal state: peace, trust, surrender, alignment. Both have released fear. And fear is what creates resistance. The universe responds not to your words, but to your state of consciousness. Intention is different than desire. This is where many people get confused. Intention and desire are not the same thing. Desire says, I need this. Intention says, I choose this. Desire contracts, intention directs. Desire grasps, intention creates. Desire comes from lack, intention comes from conscious choice. A spiritually mature person learns to set clear intentions and then release them, like planting the seed. Then you water it, but you stop digging it every day to see if it's growing. Nature doesn't work that way, and neither does consciousness. So here is the final spiritual lesson. The greatest irony is that most people begin their spiritual journey trying to manifest things: more money, a better relationship, more success, better health. And there's nothing wrong with that. But eventually, if the journey is genuine, something profound happens. You stop seeking manifestation, you begin seeking the truth. You stop asking, how do I get what I want? And begin asking, who am I really? And when that shift occurs, detachment happens naturally because you begin to realize that what you've been searching for your entire life has never been outside of yourself. The love you seek, the peace you seek, the abundance you seek, the security you seek, the divine presence you seek has always been within you. Detachment is simply the process of removing everything that made you forget that. And when you remember who you truly are, something miraculous happens. You no longer chase life, and life begins flowing through you. Not because you controlled it, not because you manifested harder, but because you finally stopped resisting the truth of what you already are, a divine being having a human experience, learning through karma, awakening through consciousness, and slowly remembering your infinite nature.